gonna stop you
Well,
right
other
there
than
because
like maybe the hangar or something.
the like streets of New York where there's like fountains and stuff, and like you're riding in the street, you get run over by the cab guy, and he goes, 2 points. You know,
dude, those cab guys are like, what do they say? They're like, oh my god, it's so
it has
funny.
like 3 different voice lines. Like one is like a typical like New Yorker guy, like 2 points, and then there's like a
There's an
like
Indian
a
dude.
like a yeah
He's
like
what are you
Indian
doing
Middle
in the
Eastern,
road?
yeah.
You
Right.
mother! You are pissing me off!
Welcome to the Cable Club. We're a retro video gaming podcast where 3 guys pretend they can skate, and we're linking up to talk about the games you love and rank them. This is episode number 40. We're your hosts. I'm Steve.
I'm Dan.
And I trip if I even look at a skateboard. I'm done.
I can actually kickflip, and I'm Brandon.
Brandon from the Discord, also Alpha Data for you guys looking to reach out to him after.
Also, baby brother Steve.
Baby brother Steve.
It's my second title.
This week's episode is our 14th League episode, and the entry is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. So get ready to upload data from us to you. But first, everybody knows it's time to set the mood. It's a warm July morning in San Diego, California. You and all of your best friends are excited to go to the skate park downtown. You guys rode your skateboards everywhere, working your boards and living the lifestyle. You all had your DC shoes, Volcom, Dickies, Element, and ProTech apparel on. Your boards were tricked out with Baker decks, Indy trucks, Spitfire wheels. Swinging by a hot dog stand and enjoying a little bit of Americana on your way downtown, you couldn't wait to land all the tricks that you've been practicing, despite however many bails you may have. You were definitely going to master the board someday. Once you all arrive, you hear the music and the buzzing chatter, and all the sounds of the wheels slamming down everywhere. Your favorite part might have been the music, though. NoFX, AFI, Dead Kennedys, Rage Against the Machine, Sublime, MXPX, Ramones, Offspring, all those bands, and so much more. From dawn to dusk, that summer was all about skating. The culture and the phenomena were, and still very much are, an important part of growing up in the new millennia. A lot of this was spurred on by a very popular video game franchise, which almost single-handedly pushed skating into the mainstream. Tonight, we're talking about Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
It's actually pretty good, because we cannot play any music from this game. Usually on our bumpers, we have some game music. All that stuff is licensed. We will be canceled as all get out with our little tiny viewership. So
what better time than now? Oh, hell! Cancel us now! That was our intro.
Before we get into all of that, I've got some announcements. One announcement, actually, which is a pretty exciting one. So if you're standing up, sit down, because the Cable Club is going to go... is going to have weekly episodes starting in 2 weeks. They will be shorter with more variety, and don't worry, we're still going to be doing the league, but we're going to be doing the league every 2 weeks as opposed to every week. But you will get a Cable Club episode every single week, and they'll probably be about 45 minutes to an hour in length every Tuesday, as opposed to having one big, long, sometimes 2-hour episode every other week. So enjoy that. I know we will. It's a pretty exciting step for us to be able to take this show weekly.
Heck yeah.
That's all I got. Dan, question of the week.
All right. Question of the week. This was actually my question. So with this question that I gave, I felt like it was fitting for this episode. So my question was, do you like soft remakes that stay true to form? Like, for example, Resident Evil 1 from the PS1 to the GameCube remake, or hard remakes that totally switch it up. An example would be like original Final Fantasy VII to the new recent remakes. I don't know if Brandon, our guest, wants to hit first.
So I'm kind of like it's almost like a mixed bag. So it's not like every game that they like remake fully is going to be like good. I'll be honest, the majority of games that I've played that are remakes are, I don't think I've liked any game that's came out as a remake more than the original. There are like remakes that are like graphical updates and stuff like that, and that's always nice. I mean, we can all appreciate that, and quality of life upgrades and stuff in other games. But see, it's tough. Like the seven's like tough because there's so much time in between those two games. It's like it's two completely different games. The only thing that they're using the same is the IP. That's the only thing that they're using. You know what I mean?
You mean
Pretty
Final
much.
Fantasy VII?
Right?
Yeah.
7.
Saying that one? Okay. Yeah.
So it's kind of almost unfair to call them the same game. Like, yeah, they have the same characters and it's the same storyline and whatnot. But at the end of the day, it plays completely different. It looks completely different. They're two different games. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how I feel like when a hard remake comes out, and it's completely different. Like we kind of experienced like a light remake for this game, and as an example, because you can get the remake on Steam, and it's a remake. It's not the same thing. It looks more like the Skate games, the more current Skate games. Huge graphical updates. Apparently, it has the songs from 1 and 2. I don't know if it's ones off of 3 or not. I haven't played the remake, but I don't know. It looked pretty good. I mean, I would agree with that. Gives us more music, looks better, probably plays a little better.
Yeah, I play video games for a very large nostalgia reason. So personally, I prefer remakes that stay true to the original and have quality of life and upgraded graphics and audio.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like when they change the game. Like, in my opinion, instead of like completely remaking a game into something else, they should have just made something else. That's just my opinion.
So I think what we're discussing here is the difference between a remake and a remaster, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when I think of a remaster, I think of something like Final Fantasy X, right? That got a remaster and they incorporated a bunch of the Japanese extra content and even made up an extra boss for the game. Gave it a fresh coat of paint graphically, right?
Mm-hmm.
A couple of quality of life improvements. I think of things like the Pixel remaster type of games, just sticking with the Final Fantasy example, right, where you can tweak your game, you can turn off like random encounters, you can double experience, you can kind of like do that. I think all that has its place. I think to a lesser extent, the Switch has done this with games like Super Mario RPG. Like that one is kind of like somewhere between a remaster and a remake, because it's not just like a graphical coat of paint; it's like a complete built from the ground up graphical overhaul, but keeps the same game generally with a couple of differences.
They
right?
fixed a lot of the bugs in that game. There's a lot of bugs in it.
Yeah,
they kept some,
remasters do that a lot.
Right.
Like they kept the buggy damage in there, right? So you can go through like 9/10 of the game taking 1 damage from enemies, which is
Well,
whatever.
the skeleton of that game is the same. Like the skeleton.
But it's a broken skeleton.
Well, I'm not saying that it wasn't, but I am saying that, that's what I want when I get a remake or like a I much prefer the remaster treatment. Like, I want to play the game that I played as a kid again, but enjoy it with some quality of life upgrades or some maybe extra content. Like, that's just all I want. I
know. I heard you.
I just
But I'm making the counter argument. Okay.
Dog's turn.
Hold on. I'm gonna let you finish. Okay. But
Beyonce had the greatest music video of all time.
But remakes.
Oh my god.
I love remakes because I want to see what you got. Like, I want to see you revive some kind of IP and bring it forward in a way that it wasn't brought forward before. Bring it to a new audience, show a new audience why we all appreciate this thing. It's really hard to drive new people to some of the old IPs or get people on board with old characters that we liked by just rehashing the old game from the era when we were kids, right?
Yeah, but just make a new game.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as Steve. Like when it comes to remakes, is yeah, I kind of like keeping true to form for the most part, but like add more content and whatnot. I'm not totally against like if they totally switch it up. If it is done right, then I'm all for it. But one thing I do like, I don't know if this falls under like remaster or a remake, but like say the Tomb Raider remakes that just came out recently, they're all bundled up. I think it's like 1 through 3, and they have like a toggle button where you can toggle between the OG graphics and then the updated graphics. I love when games do that. So like you can like play through it like with your nice smooth FPS like 60 on the upgraded graphics, and then you can like toggle it to the how it was meant to be played with like 15 FPS or whatever. And
But that's like a perfect example of what I'm saying too. Like they just made new Tomb Raider IP games. Like it's still Tomb Raider, but they didn't have to remake the first game with better graphics or completely change that. They added to the series by just making new game with new everything. But it's not like they didn't steal a bunch of stuff.
Hold on here, okay? What about Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, right? Phenomenal remakes.
Yeah, I agree.
And what about Resident Evil 4, right? Or Resident Evil 2 remake, right?
How many
like,
times
weren't
did they
those
remake
amazing?
that game, though? They remade that game almost as many times as they remade Skyrim.
No, I'm talking about the actual Resident Evil 4 remake, not all of the remasters that have been released on every system since launch.
yeah, like the ones that came out like within like 5 years.
Palette.
Yeah, like I think it came out in 2023.
You guys
actually,
realize
Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green plays very, very similarly. Final Fantasy VII remake.
What about Heart Gold and
Final
Silver?
Fantasy VII remake does not play like original Final Fantasy VII. It doesn't even feel
it's a different
close.
game.
Look,
Yeah, it is.
But Fire Red and Leaf Green feels like
case.
the same game.
Okay, I'm not saying
Yes.
every remake ever made was better. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying in general, I prefer remakes if I have to answer the question one way or the other.
But it's
Fire
still,
Red and Leaf Green are absolutely 100% remakes.
it's a case by case basis.
Yeah, it is still case by case. You can hate FF7 if you want, but if you like Fire Red and Leaf Green more than you like Red and Blue, then you like a remake. Like you like that remake. I'm not telling you you like remasters more, but you do like that remake.
I like Fire Red and Leaf Green more than the originals because those sprites in that original game are so jacked
Cursed.
up,
Everything's
That's
missing now.
nostalgia.
so terrible.
No, I like Fire Red and
or
Leaf Green.
Like Pikachu's like half the screen.
Like fat.
Yeah, he's so fat.
I'm not saying that remakes are bad. I'm just saying
No.
that that feels like a remaster.
It's a whole different engine. A
Yeah.
whole different engine, whole different system, so much so that they could not incorporate Gen 1 and 2 in there. They had to scrap it. They had to start
You
over.
still catch pretty much the same Pokemon in the same places. You do the gyms in the same order that you would have as a kid. You do the same storyline events exactly as they were.
More shiny
The only
Pokemon.
difference is the way that the damage is calculated between like special and physical and IVs and EVs. Like,
The whole
like you're not going
island-
Oh,
to...
and the X
Forget about
accuracies
the
actually
islands?
work.
The islands?
What islands?
There's
they-
islands toward the end of the game. There's a whole
yeah, that's
separate
right.
rocket mission.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
this
I don't-
bunch of
I don't
stuff
remember
going
that.
on in
Yeah, at
there.
the
Yeah, I
end
don't
of the
remember
game, it's like over to the right of the map, and
But
it's
that
like
counts as added
Not
stuff
even-
to a
Not even the end.
remaster.
It happens during the storyline. I think like before Badge 7, before you fight Blaine, you actually have to go visit the islands and have to do stuff there. So they tell you that the islands are there. But there's tons of
I didn't finish it, I guess. I don't remember that at all.
or it's just been forever, right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's
no.
been
Like if I go
15
back
years.
to play, I like to play the originals. Like
Sometimes
I
I
don't know,
do.
I just
Yeah.
I
do.
wouldn't mind playing either of them, to be honest. Like they're both good games. You know what's not a good game? The fucking
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
Sorry, you wish.
That's like an objective lie.
It is objectively more popular than any other game you'll most likely review on this. Like well, other than maybe JRPGs, but that's only because how popular.
Don't underestimate WCW versus NWO Revenge, because actually it was like the 7th or 8th top selling game on the N64.
What I guess
Pretty
number
enormous.
one's probably Mario. Smash Brothers probably up there. Zelda, top
We've also
5.
covered Super Mario World, although I don't believe it sold better than either of the games we're discussing now. But
No, it just came with the system.
back in its heyday. Well, actually, coming with the system, they do count that. But anyway.
Oh, do that?
So, Dan, what about our community answers?
All right. First one comes from John Jordan. I typically prefer a very similar game with a fresh coat of paint. Using your Final Fantasy VII example, I remember being upset that they were going to be changing it so much for the remake. I actually did up ending enjoying the remake a good bit. Rebirth is honestly pretty hard for me to even play. Gee, I wonder why. I haven't played Rebirth.
That's
Me
the
either.
second one, right?
Yeah.
Open world, which blows. And by the way, the second half of Final Fantasy VII, where you're not in Midgar, also blows for the same reason.
Okay, so that was kind of my problem with the with the first one. I felt the pathing in the game is far too linear to be a Final Fantasy game. It literally like I couldn't even go back at all. You know what I mean? Like I understand when you progress in a storyline in a Final Fantasy game, you can't really go back in the storyline, obviously, but whenever you progressed in the storyline at all, you completely left an area. And I felt like the areas were lackluster. There were not enough enemies in the game.
It was their first foray into the PlayStation, doing the 3D graphics, and I felt like there was a lot of representation in it. They did fine. I liked.
We're gonna have to bring Brandon back on in 20 years when we do the FF7 remake review.
I played it. I played it. I thought it was okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much my sentiment of it.
I liked it better.
It was okay.
I liked it better than 7. I don't really like 7 at all.
Dan, read the second answer because he's in my.
All right. Second answer. JMO. I think if there are not quality of life improvements, I would prefer someone give the franchise a fresh spin rather than just a resell of the same game on a new system.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a little bit of a money grab otherwise, but I did.
Yeah. That's just a port, though.
Yeah, I will relent a little bit because I did praise the Switch last episode for being kind of like a huge retro machine that they've sold tons of. So I really don't mind it when it's part of a collection. I'm all about those collection
Megaman Zero
games.
collection and
I'm all for those too.
Namco,
or even the big fat Genesis collection for Steam.
Mm-hmm.
That once in a while gets a new game on there. Yeah, dude, it's got
Comic Zone lit. On it. And...
Yeah,
it's a bunch of good games. I had the little
Golden
Axe,
little
1, 2, and 3 Super Nintendo.
Toe Jam and Earl, bro.
I used to have this little.
I like the second one.
Mini Super Nintendo, and that thing came loaded with Earthbound on it.
Yeah, well, also, this is a little bit related, but that mini Super Nintendo came with a fully finished, released in 2017, Star Fox 2 for the SNES.
Yes.
Which was in development but scrapped for Star Fox 64. It was coming out way too late. But they finished the project in 2017 when they launched that little bad boy, which is so sweet.
That's cool.
It's good.
I don't know. I think you were getting one, Don, but I'm super curious about the N64 with the 4K graphics. I can't find any videos on it.
You're only up the road, so when it comes in, I'll let you know. Come over here and we'll mess around. I got a whole library of N64 games waiting for that thing.
Yeah, I want to see it in action. Even videos, but there's nothing.
Garbage. Anyway, before we get way off the rails, because we're already there, you guys ready to talk about Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2?
Let's do it.
Ready.
Let's get grinding.
As is tradition, this part of the show, we're going to talk about Brandon's game, so I'm going to kick it over to Brandon to give us an overview. Brandon, if I've never played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, what is it?
You've never played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, Don?
Let
me ask you a couple of questions first. Do you like skateboards? All right, well, I'm going to have to ask you to leave the podcast if that's the case.
All right, that was a good episode.
Yeah, good job, guys. So Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, I guess the best way I could describe it is the best sports game. It's a skateboarding game that came out originally for the PlayStation. I believe it was the PlayStation first. And then it was ported to other systems, Nintendo 64, so on. So it's basically a skateboarding game. It's named after Tony Hawk, one of the most famous skateboarders. He's made famous by doing the 900 at the X Games, not during a run, but he did it. He was the first to do it, and he pretty much put skateboarding on the map. He did that. Came out with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1, sold really well. Then we got 2. So basic premise of the game is to skate around different areas. You go to different maps, to Los Angeles, New York, all those different types of places, and you get to skate rails, stairs, half pipes, quarter pipes, bowls, everything you can basically imagine. If you can see it and you can get on top of it, you could probably skate it. So it's, do whatever you want. Inside a free skate, you could build your own skate park. You can make your own skater. This game's got a bunch of stuff to do. As long as you enjoy skateboarding, you probably find something to do in the game. So there's a couple of different things that you could do in the game. In the career mode, you can ride around the level. You got 2 minutes. You can collect skate, SKATE. There are letters inside of the level that you can collect. Original version, you can collect cash, and you could just do other quests or objectives in the game, onlying over homeless people, grinding on certain things.
Fire hydrants.
Yeah.
Subway rails.
Yeah.
Subway
yeah.
tokens.
They just grind all over
School
everything.
bells.
Yeah.
So,
Cars.
yeah,
Blades,
The game gives you like all these different objectives to do on top of like building a score. You have tons and tons of different tricks you could do.
Yes.
And like there's more than you could even name. Like
the customization is absolutely nuts. Like
Yes.
like the actual like creative skater part is like whatever. But like how you can go and you can look at your move list, which is huge, by the way.
Yeah.
How many moves do you think
it's
that
almost-
like each individual skater has?
It's
like
so you can put
30 or 40.
You can
Yeah, it's
put,
a lot.
It's like 50. There's
Yeah,
crap
and then specials, right? And like you can customize every single one of those things, different button layouts, whatever you want, right?
You
Like
right
it's
right
nuts.
circle. You could do right down circle, up
Yeah.
circle. Any different combination, and you
Yeah,
could
I just think
make
it's
it-
insane that like you can do like a manual that has like 8 different variations. Like grinding a reel has like 8 different variations.
Yeah, they were very, very detail oriented, and all of them have names.
Yeah,
That-
and sometimes it's like it'll tell you in the goals like, oh, do this move. Like I don't remember exactly. It's like do an ollie and do a kickflip or whatever.
Or a nose slide.
Or like-
Yeah, but like it has like a special name.
50-50, 50-50
Exactly.
sculpture or something. Yeah.
Right. So
Crooks,
like sometimes I had to like
lumps.
look it up like how to do it because it's like I don't even know what that is. Like
Just look
Yeah.
at your
Well,
move
it
list,
should,
bro.
It should
Yeah.
say in your move list as well.
yeah.
Yeah. So basically, the game is about skateboarding. You get to skateboard all these different levels, and like Brandon was saying, pretty much anything that you could think of doing on a skateboard, you could do. So, like in the first level, there's a couple little things you get to. It's how many levels are there? It's probably like
10,
9.
something like
I
that.
know
Yeah.
the answer to that. Depending on the version you're playing, it's between 10 and 16 levels.
So
There are exclusive. So this game was everywhere. Basically, a year after it was made, it was the first Tony Hawk's Pro Skater to get a PC port. They put it on the N64. They had a
Yep.
GBA version.
I have that. I own that one.
Yeah,
You could be
Oh.
Spider-Man in it. You could be Spider-Man.
How good is it though? Like I
It's
don't.
actually-
Good.
look. Like there was this era of like every great console game has to get like shoehorned onto GBA hardware, and to mixed success. But like some notable standouts were like Frogger and this.
Yes.
Is it
And
like-
Dude,
this was like
I'm
this
trying
when
to
I
think
tell
how that
you-
would work on the
Dude,
GBA. Is it like a top-down
didn't
view or
seem-
something?
It didn't seem like it would work, but
There's
it
no
worked
way it's
so
3D.
good.
Yeah.
Oh, it's isometric
It made
and
no
like
sense.
it feels 3D, but it
Yeah.
works great.
I remember playing a little bit of it.
And they incorporated like all the tricks, all the grinding, all the like career mode, like all that stuff was all in there. It was all intact. I kind of wish we were talking about it a little bit because it really was a marvel.
Yeah. I have to
Way ahead of
actually
its
check
time
that
for
out,
the
dude.
Game Boy. Forget about it.
Oh yeah, you had to like use the shoulder buttons to grind and stuff. Like I can feel it. I played the crap out of that one. You could play as like the police and stuff.
So it's Officer Dick, and then I think that is in number 1. So if you 100% number 1, you get Officer Dick as a special character, and then in 2, if you 100% it, you get a special character. I forget who it is in this one. On the PlayStation 1. I believe the PlayStation 1 and the Nintendo 64 special characters are different. And then on the Game Boy Advanced version, when you 100% it, you get Spider-Man as your special character. And I think you also get the police, too.
You get Spider-Man in the PlayStation version of this game as well for 100%ing it, or there's a cheat code to put in, which is perfectly acceptable, I think. If you have to 100% a game to unlock a character, go ahead. Put the cheat code in.
I think it's only 100% one career mode, because in order to 100% the entire game, you would have to beat every skater's career mode. So you'd have to do like Rodney Mullen, Chad Muska, Alyssa Steamer, Tony Hawk. You'd have to do all the characters.
Correct. Yeah, you only have to complete it with one character to unlock Spider-Man.
Which, thank God.
So crazy, dude.
In Tony Hawk 2, there's 16 characters, and most of them, almost all of them, are actual pro skaters, which was really cool. So like if you watch the X Games, or if you knew these people in real life, if you grew up in whatever areas, there's like Tony Hawk, Bob Burnquist, Steve Caballero, Kareem Campbell, Rune Glifberg, Eric Costin, Bucky Lasik, Rodney Mullen, Chad Muska, Andrew Reynolds, Geoff Rowley, Alyssa Steamer, Jamie Thomas, and then Officer Dick, which Brandon talked about, Spider-Man, and Private Carrera. So, like, that was something that was really cool because I got introduced to these games, and Brandon too, from our older cousins who skated, and they were into the whole punk rock thing, and you know, they played it a ton. And so, like, they were always talking about the skaters and all that, and it was so cool to, like, be able to play as a pro skater and learn some of the big names in the scene.
Right. And they also had their own. They also had their own moves too. Like I know Tony Hawk did. He had the 900 in his move list, which was pretty cool.
But like Rune Glifberg, super popular skater. The Christ Air, super iconic vert move. People are still doing it nowadays, and you can't get enough of it. Someone throws down a Christ Air and a half pipe. People are losing their collective minds.
It's kind of similar to the wrestling game we played last time, where every skater has their own signature moves, which I would imagine is part of the art.
Oh, that's the cool thing about skating is nothing is actually anybody's. You can do anything you want.
Yeah, you can't copyright a move.
Yeah,
you
invent a move, and then everybody else wants to do it. And the best at that, like, you got to give credit where credit is due. Rodney Mullen,
best street skater of all time.
Oh, talk about the difference between a street skater and a vert skater.
Of his generation, yes, he was the best street skater of his generation, out of the Bones Brigade and that,
yes, but
that
street
era.
Skating would not even exist without him. So what street skating is it's lots of grinds and manuals and kickflips and
Gaps
impossibles and all
sets
kinds of tricks that you would do
flat ground
on like in, let's just say, like the
Flat
sidewalk or on tables, or anything that you can find on the street.
Flat ground, not half
That
place.
is what we call it.
Yeah.
And vert skating is all about the vertical. So you're going to be in the bowls and the half pipes and the quarter pipes and all the stuff that gets you high in the air, which is how Tony Hawk gets his 900. He gets high in the air. He's a vert skater. So, there's two classic thoughts: street skate versus vert skate. And a lot of skaters don't. A lot of skaters do both, but they usually specialize in one. So, like, Rodney Mullen is a street skater. Like, that's his main thing. And Tony Hawk
you can't even get Rodney Mullen in a pipe. Back in the day, he used to. He said so. Some of the first people to start airing out, like, they started in pools and stuff like that. Have you guys ever seen Lords of Dogtown?
I've watched some of it. Yeah.
Please, if you have not seen Lords of Dogtown, watch that movie. That movie is just like it really, like, explains, like, why skateboarding exists at all. It almost never existed in the first place. Like, the fact that we have it at all is kind of crazy. Like, it rode, like, on the fringes of, like, they went from toys. or from literal toys.
Oh, nice.
So for our audio listeners, Brandon is holding up a skateboard that he showed us before we started recording, and he said it was from the 70s.
Yeah.
And some key differences are, one, sticks out immediately, the size. This skateboard from the 70s is like toddler size.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
maybe 18, 22 inches maybe.
Yeah, like way smaller. And you said it was made out of
It's like a
made out of something else there?
plastic resin.
Yeah.
Everything about this thing is just crazy.
Yeah, that thing's for sliding under your car to work on underneath it.
Yeah.
It'd be very uncomfortable.
I know. It gets a
it's
back
way too
problems.
small.
It's a four-wheeled dolly.
Yeah.
A furniture mover.
Yeah, you just put your couch on it.
So I gotta ask Brandon, coming back to the game for a minute, why 2?
All right, so one's good. Love the music in one. It's really iconic. Part of the reason why I didn't want to do 1 though is a couple of the levels in it are really linear and they only really go in one direction. And I feel
I remember what's at the canyon.
Yeah, the canyon, the mall. So most of the levels are linear, like more or less downhill jammy type, levels. So there's no real like turning around or like staying in one spot and like actually skating like in a half pipe. You know what I mean? It's more or less like point A to point B, try and complete the goals on your way down the hill. So like for me two is just like you have a lot more freedom in it, and like for me, like as a skater, like that's what I want. Like that's freedom, like to go where I want and to do what I want. So as soon as we got that, I think they realized like what they had done after they had released the first game. There was definitely like they talked to skaters when they made 1, but I don't think they talked to them enough. You know what I mean? I think they more or less like
Well, they had to feel
used
it out,
their
right?
idea.
I mean,
their
Yeah,
idea.
first game, so
Yeah, their idea of like what a skateboarding game would be. You know what I mean? And they were probably like thinking about it more like kind of like in the idea of almost like a race, but you're not actually racing somebody, if that makes sense. You know what I
in
mean?
some of those levels, yeah. I do kind of wish that the timer, like I wish you could increase the timer.
Yeah.
Like I
You
understand.
can play free skate.
yeah.
Yeah, but can
you
you do
can't
the
complete
collectibles
goals.
in
I
free
don't-
skate?
No,
I
because career mode has a set of rules, and you can't just be like,
I
I want to
know,
do that.
but
Well, that's why you get you could create your own park, and then you could put spikes. And
yeah, no, I
you could kill
understand.
yourself.
I completely understand that there's a set of rules in career mode and that you can create your own park and you can do whatever you want to do. It's just I don't like when I'm a minute 50 in and I have SKAT and I don't know where the hell the E is and I run out of time. That's
Part of the
annoying.
game, though,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's part of the
I
game.
know, but I'm allowed to criticize it. So stop telling me I'm not allowed to criticize
No, you're
it.
not. It's my game.
I don't care.
Hey Dan, our secret goal is to get Brandon and Steve to fight during this episode.
It's not a fight. I just win. I'm just playing.
We're not fighting skateboard. We're not playing hockey here.
I'll bring a skateboard to a gunfight.
I know for me, one of the things that sticks out in this game, as opposed to the first and the third one that sandwich it, are the physics. Like, actually, 2 things. One, the physics. Like, it almost feels like in Tony Hawk 2, you're like moon jumping. Like, whenever you shoot off of a half pipe, you're shooting way further than anyone has ever gone.
It is very.
the whole
floaty.
game is pretty unrealistic. If you actually watch like people skating in parks and stuff, versus what you can do in this game, it's completely like
Of course.
night and day difference.
To get
Actually, though-
big numbers early on, I was kickflip 900ing. Like
So no.
Or,
So
like
here's
grinding and jumping rail to rail to rail. You never see that. in,
well,
like,
you pick up
That-
speed, it's impossible.
that is the only thing in the game that you can't like really do.
What, jump
Because-
from rail to rail?
Rail to rail to rail to rail, like you do in the game. Because
Yeah, just like hopping on the rail.
it's not that physics is still a thing. You know what I mean? Friction, like
Not in this game, which is
Yeah.
part of the appeal for me.
so.
yeah.
You could do it if you're going downhill rails. You have gravity helping
Like if
keeping
you could
going.
do even half the things you could do in this game in real life, you would be the best skater alive.
Just like WD-40 the crap out of their treads, man.
Well, the point I'm trying to make more or less is it's difficult to do a 900 in the game unless you do it in the special, right? You can complete a 900 ollie or fishbone or melon or something like that. You could do a 900 in that, but I dare you to do a 1080 in the game. It is very, very, very difficult, if not almost impossible, without getting an extreme amount of speed by grinding around a level and hitting something perfect to do a 1080.
Yeah, even with maxed out stats, I know what you're talking about.
Yes,
like,
yeah.
Very maxed
difficult.
out like spin and whatnot. It's still very hard.
But people nowadays do 1080s. Like, they throw them down. Like, people can do them now. So not everything in the game is completely unrealistic. The only unrealistic thing really is the grinding. Because you've seen Rodney Mullen videos. You know how long that guy can manual. And you know he can kickflip in manual and land back into manual, if not into nose manual, or revert out of it, or go into primo slide, or like any of that stuff. A lot of kids nowadays do skate at a very increased level than what we used to skate back in the day.
Well, that's with any art form or
Yeah.
any
Yeah,
like
it's
competitive thing.
Yeah.
Like, the way to get better at something is a lot more available. I mean, you have the internet now, and it's just easier to get the information that people didn't have back in the day.
Yes.
Like
back when we were kids
before
trying to learn
Rodney
a move.
Mullen invented the standing ollie, like nobody knew how to do that. So he invents the ollie and he teaches people how to do it, the standing ollie. And from that,
Mullen didn't invent the ollie.
He invented the standing ollie.
Oh, Ollie North invented the ollie.
Yes, but that was moving.
Isn't ollie just like a jump with the skateboard?
Yes, but people didn't think you could just jump from a standing position, and Rodney Mullen invented it.
Like, how were they doing it before? Like crouching or something?
Didn't he also invent the kickflip?
Yes, and the impossible, and
the dark slide,
like
slide,
30 tricks.
Yeah,
the point is that information is now so much more available. But one of the coolest parts about this game is that the learning curve is so shallow. Like, you can just start picking it up and learning how to play in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, you give it to
That's exactly what happened to me.
Also, the game has a way of teaching you in the sense that if you're playing career mode, it cooks your moves, which is the term to say that if you use a move over and over again, you don't get as much return out of it. And
I like that.
That's in the points. So if you grind a rail the same exact way every time, you won't get as much points, and you likely won't accomplish the level
there's
goals.
diminishing returns.
So you have to learn to mix
tricks.
it up. And by replaying the levels over and over again, I know Steve knocked it, but by replaying it over and over again and being restricted to a time limit, you start to route plan in those levels, and you start to find like circuits that you can go like do and complete and string tricks together to get all the way, up to like, I don't know, like I remember back in the day, you used to be able to get like 270,000 points in a single string of tricks on School 2, which is my favorite level. But that kind of leads me into the second thing that Tony Hawk 2 added, which is another reason why it's my favorite, which are those manuals, which we just discussed, right? Like being able to chain your tricks together, like created a whole new strategic element to just jumping off half pipes and spinning around like you did in the first game.
One thing, Tony Hawk 3, when you hit a half pipe or a quarter pipe and you go up and then you come down, when you hit the half pipe or the quarter pipe in 3, you can press the R2 button and it'll revert your character when he hits the bottom of that quarter pipe. So then what it'll do is the board will hit the ground and then it'll spin, and it'll keep the multiplier on your trick. So you can go up, you can do a vert trick, you come down, you hit the coping again, you hit the R2 button, you revert out, and then you can immediately start manualing, and then it'll chain that vert trick that you just did on the manual trick that you did because you reverted out of your
I wish I had that.
So they added that in the remaster or the remake.
See,
I didn't realize.
They do have that.
Yeah,
but the air time and hang time in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 is so bad that it's not fun for me.
It's heavy. It doesn't. It feels heavy.
Right, and you don't jump as high, and part of Tony Hawk 2's physics is using all that to your advantage to explore the levels, to do all the stuff that
Do you know how many
you have to do, or find stuff that you don't feel like you're supposed to find.
Yeah, do you know how many things
Like-
you could wall ride and like jump off of?
Yeah.
Get
Yeah.
to like
Tons.
ridiculous
Oh, yeah.
places.
And like, we all used to get off playing Mega Man X when we would like jump and like wall kick and get an edge of something that we weren't supposed to get. That's like this whole game.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
The dopamine's high in this game.
yeah, no, it's really awesome.
That's kind of like why I picked it. I'm like, I don't want to do a boring game. I don't want to do a game
Yeah.
that's like confusing or irritating at all, or like a troll. Like I could have picked Kid Chameleon, and we all could have beat our
Oh,
faces
jeez.
on our controllers for a week.
Bummer.
But I'm like,
Yeah,
I want to
no,
do a
the-
fun game that I
Yeah.
enjoy.
Yeah, part of the fun was just like, you're skating around, in a level, and you see like, like a letter or whatever, or like a videotape, and you're like, how the hell
Yeah,
do I
dude,
get
you're
that?
like, how do I?
And the part of the fun is figuring it out, like just
Yeah.
like trying to like do tricks or like grind up to it or whatever. But like I remember there was quite a few times I would see like an item and I'd be like, I have no idea how to get that. But like that was the fun of it.
So that
Yeah,
leads me
the-
into a question. So all of the different characters have different stat spreads, and you can eventually increase them and lower them to certain levels. Who did you guys play most?
Create a
Custom
skater.
skater.
Yeah, oh yeah. That was me. I made a guy
My
from
little red
Boston.
helmet.
From
Yeah.
Boston, grinding those reels wicked hard,
I
dude.
made a custom skater, but if I were to pick a skater, Chad Muska's the man, dude. Chad Muska's the man.
He does have really good stats for a base character.
Well, no.
To be honest,
do you know?
I only know Tony Hawk.
Do you know back
if
in
I'm
the
being
day?
completely honest.
Back in the day.
Oh yeah, but I'm looking at the stats. I don't know anything about the guy, but as
So-
I'm picking through, I'm looking at the stats.
So back in the day, Chad Muska, like he was famous for being a skateboarder. He used to date Paris Hilton. Like how cool back then, when
Yeah.
she was like cool. Like how cool do you have to be to date that person? Well, I
Yeah.
guess Chad Muska's that cool. So,
Yeah. Actually, give me Bam Margera. That's
oh, I mean,
Chad
Bam's okay.
Muska, he's
not
all about the grinds. He's all about the rails, man.
He's more about skating than he was Jackass. But then, he's more into like drugs and drinking than he was into skateboarding, and now he doesn't.
Yeah.
He's trying to get back into skating.
Speaking of which-
I love Bam, but
Interesting little piece of trivia. So Tony Hawk landed the 900 post competition, as Brandon indicated, but in 1999, which coincidentally was the same year that Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 launched, and also the year that Tony Hawk officially retired from competition skating. He went. So my question to you is how, because there's a ton of Tony Hawk games that have come out, and the latest one is coming out this year, or may even be out, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 remake. If you've quit skating, how many games do you have to appear in before you officially become a video game character?
I know, right?
so you're talking
Because
about
like
the
he's
characters
been
that
a
you could
video
choose-
game character for 26 years now. How old is he?
I think he's in his late 50s now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's probably been a video game character longer than he's been a skater.
Yeah, I think he's in his 50s.
Yeah,
He's been
late
skating
50s.
since the 70s, or
No,
I think he's like
late
58,
70s, early 80s,
58 or
something like that.
59. I'm pretty sure.
yeah,
Tony
'cause the-
Hawk for Smash is what I'm trying to say.
oh,
he
for-
was born in 68.
yeah.
So
So
what,
that's
57?
32 and 20 is 52 and 5. Yep. That's 57. Well, in May, so 57 on May 12th.
Our cousin Travis has a signed Birdhouse deck from Tony Hawk. Actually,
I had no idea.
yeah, he's got one. I don't know if he still has it. He probably doesn't.
It's really sweet, though.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I played
got a backpack signed
Tony
by Dave
Hawk
Mirra.
because
I met Dave. Mirra.
he was like the first character, and I didn't go into like the selecting characters and all that. But if I was to replay it, I would
Rune Clifford.
probably just
You would pick Rune Cliffberg.
No, I like manuals and grinding and do like making gigantic combos and scoring like ridiculous amounts of points.
His
So
favorite
I would-
used to be Rune Cliffberg.
Yeah, it used to be, but now it's Rodney Mullen.
They're all G's in my opinion. I like.
I'm gonna
I like
add
them all.
Rodney Mullen to the keywords for this episode. Just saying, we've said it so many times. Definitely has
Dude,
to appear in the keywords.
he's a
now.
The
legend.
Godfather of street skate, man.
Absolute the Godfather.
Legend.
Streetscape Godfather, yeah. There's this new guy who like wears a helmet all the time. He was on the Joe Rogan Experience and stuff. He does a lot of like that old school street skating that Ronnie used to do and competitions and stuff like that. He's pretty good. I can't remember his name though. He's cool. I'd skate with him.
So, the levels. So, Don, you have a list of the levels picked up, right? So the first level's the hangar. The second level's the school.
School 2, the best level. School 2.
I think I agree.
I hate wall
love
riding
School
bells,
2.
man.
The
Wall
bells
riding
are
bells
easy.
is the
What,
worst.
dude?
It's easy,
Oh.
yeah.
I don't like wall riding the bells.
I don't like Philadelphia.
It's because I'm good, you're bad.
Philadelphia.
Yeah, where you gotta drain the fountain and then you gotta do the lip
Philly's
tricks.
cool. I like
But
I
honestly-
like that when you get the middle pond, it's just a big grinding circle you can stay on as long as you
You
can
don't.
balance.
So you know how like when you complete like a gap or a rail or something, and it gives you like that blue text.
Yeah.
It doesn't give you that when you grind all the way around that fountain.
Missed opportunities.
It's wicked bad, dude. Because
Yeah.
you can do it if you're an
Brandon's
animal.
triggered.
But I am.
And they give it to you for such random things. Like
Yeah.
I know clearing a grind gap in real life sounds very impressive, but basically it's like, every other minute in this game, and anytime you do it, they just give it to you for like random stuff. Like you hop between two tables and it's like
Table hop.
hop Casey's Rib Shack tables. Something like that, and you're like, I don't even know what that is.
But I did it.
I did it. I got double points for it. So
Tail
like
slide the Venice boardwalk or whatever, and you're like,
Yeah.
where is
Yeah.
this? Where is
slide the
this
Venice
thing? I have
boardwalk.
no
It's behind the level.
idea. Yeah, it's like all the way in the back of the
It's
level.
a
You got to do a
random
certain kind of
staircase.
grind. You wouldn't even know they wanted it unless it was in the actual like
Do you have
the goals.
So that's that. All right. So one of the cool things about this game is all of the skate spots are legitimate skate spots. So if you are familiar with
wait.
Venice, yes. If
I'm
you
gonna stop
Well,
you right
other
there
than
because
like maybe the
streets
hangar
of-
or something.
the like streets of New York, where there's like fountains and stuff, and like you're riding in the street, you get run over by the cab guy, and he goes,
I love-
2
I-
points. You
yeah,
know,
dude, those cab guys are like, what do they say? They're like, oh my god, it's so
it has
funny.
like 3 different voice lines. Like one is like a typical like New Yorker guy, like 2 points, and then there's
Yeah.
like a
There's an
like
Indian
a,
dude.
like a
He's
like
like, what are you
Indian,
doing
Middle
in the
Eastern,
road?
yeah, right. But if you get hit by the same car 3 times, the voice lines will all change. So like it's like there's 3 different people driving this car, but and then like there's just random half pipes set up everywhere. You're like in a school, and there's like 5 half pipes set up against the wall, and you're like, what is happening?
How many times did you get hit by that golf cart?
Oh, quite
Never.
a few times.
Never.
Oh, come on! I don't
Dude,
believe that for
no,
a second,
no,
I
dude.
car planted it.
I was just-
car planted that thing.
Yeah.
I didn't get hit once. I
That
car
dude
planted
drives like an absolute maniac, dude.
Get over!
4 wheels off the
Dude.
ground.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's on 2 wheels more than 4 most
Yeah.
of the time.
I think I was just on the other side of the map, and I'm so familiar with that map. I only did it like twice, basically, to complete everything I needed to do.
So did you guys collect all the cash? All right. So I know that Steve played the remake and
I did too.
played the remake. So you guys didn't get cash. So
Yeah, not the same way.
Me
It's
and-
not a collectible in the level.
I did. I played the PlayStation 1
Yeah.
version because I love it.
played the original one. But all right. So the original one gets cash, but the remake gets more music.
Yes, but they were not able to procure the rights of 3 of the original songs from the PlayStation 1 soundtrack.
Didn't they have
I don't know which ones they were.
Me
the boy who destroyed the world in the first one, the AFI song?
No, I don't think it was it was in Rodney Mullen's music video.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. Okay.
This is actually a really
But-
good time to talk about the soundtrack, too.
But I don't think it was one of the regular playable songs in the level.
Yeah. So the soundtrack,
Absolute
S
fire.
tier, double
Yeah,
S plus tier.
I unironically listened to it several times this week. Just put it on while I was working because it is a set of songs, and apparently the original development team was only like 4 guys, and they were each individually passionate about the genres of music that appear here, and they worked like round the clock up to development just to get the licensing rights. Like, they were bothering everybody to be able to include this music. I'm surprised it was all legit, frankly. Like, because back in these days, occasionally a video game would just, without asking, shove somebody's IP into the video game, like, without any kind of lawyers or process or anything. Like, there were copies of, like, Michael Jackson's Moonwalker that had Thriller, and there were copies that didn't, because there was a period of time where
that's right.
the record company was like, "Yeah, no, what are you doing? Putting these cartridges out? Stop it now!"
Atlantic, I believe it's
and they did.
Atlantic.
Crazy.
Like, it just was such an interesting time for that. But anyway, they managed to do it all legit. But I think my favorite song is probably Worlds Collide. I think, like, I've given it a lot of thought, but I think Worlds Collide is probably my favorite.
I like the "What could replace the whole fucking world?"
Oh, that's Bad Religion. You.
Yep.
Yeah, that one's so good.
It's another good one.
Mine was Blood Brothers by Papa Roach.
Yeah. It's the first one you hear, and man, I've been grinning ear to ear for these last 2 weeks, because as soon as I turned that game on and went to the hangar and that song started going, I was like, "Oh, we're back. We're back."
My favorite tune, I do really like You, because Bad Religion's one of my favorite bands, but I think my favorite song on 2 is probably May 16th by Lagwagon.
Sing some of it.
No more waiting for them.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that one's so good.
Yeah,
Lagwagon's awesome.
I mean, it's all great. And you just jam it for 2 minutes while you're skating.
Yeah, that song's so good.
Yep, I could. You know what? Sometimes just like randomly, I'll be at work or something, and I'll be like, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 soundtrack. I'll just like,
dude.
Like, it's that good.
I did enjoy playing the remaster because they mixed the 1 and 2 songs together, so I also got to listen to Superman while playing Tony Hawk 2, which is great.
That kind of makes me want to play the remake, but
yeah, the remake's actually really good, because like you can use like I think you could probably do this with like every skater, but like even with your custom skater, you can pick like 1 or 2, like the parks or whatever. They're like meshed together pretty much.
Really,
it's basically like 2 games in one. So you get like a bunch of levels and all this stuff. You probably got like over 20 levels, and you can use the same skater. Yeah, it's great. Like,
so originally,
all this music.
Originally, the Xbox version did that.
Oh, did it?
It was called Tony Hawk's. I think it was called 2X or something like that. And it was the first 2 games. Yeah, like all the levels mashed together and stuff.
That came out.
So that's where they got this remake idea from.
Yeah, it's probably slightly better than the GBA version,
Only slightly.
It's debatable. You can't bring it wherever you want to go. So
debatable. The GBA version had 2 levels that the PlayStation version didn't have. Just kind of.
And I could play it on the bus.
Hit home the fact that it was a complete juggernaut.
Absolute masterpiece for the GBA.
I can't remember if it had like any music. Like, or if it was just dead silent. Can you imagine?
I think it was just one song. Chip? I think it was one song, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was like a Game Boy like port of the Rage Against the Machine song.
Yikes.
So this was like, one of the qualities about the PlayStation 1 hardware as opposed to like the N64, right? Is that PlayStation actually had a sound chip. That was designed for being an actual music plaer, first of all, because it was
CD
just
player.
a feature that it was a CD player.
Yeah, you could use it as a CD player.
Yeah, and the discs allowed them to put these large tracks on them and not have to like make some kind of a MIDI version of music, right? So there was no hardware restriction.
You'd have thought that after like they made like PlayStation 1 games like that, like that it would have been more or less a musical renaissance for video games. But like you said, they just went through development hell trying to get the rights just to play the music.
Well, I think it was, N64, I think was the last time we saw a company really try to just make do with whatever sound chip that wasn't designed for music. Because I think after that, you saw things like and I'm talking about GameCube, but Super Smash Brothers Melee having full orchestral tracks,
that's
from
true.
what is it, the Tokyo Symphony Orchestra or something like that?
It was an orchestra,
like,
but I don't.
It was like actually, orchestrated music.
I would assume
played
it's
through
the
that,
Japanese
right?
orchestra. It's made in Japan.
Yeah, which you didn't really have before that on a Nintendo console. So I do think PlayStation really was that like musical push forward that all games needed.
Yeah, but we didn't.
I mean, amongst all
really
kinds
get
of things, like
that many games with music like that, though.
Well, because the artist's licensing is expensive, but it allowed composers of video game music to use
more complex,
other sounds and
more
instruments.
complex sound.
Yeah. I mean, that's just a facet of technology and how it just gets better, Or I mean, it gets more. I don't know the word. Things are more available. Yeah, advanced.
You remember carrying around Walkmans? What a terrible idea!
Yeah,
like,
I had
the fact that if you jostle a
skip.
CD, it skips. But like you have the Walkman that you in your pocket, and you're running around and crap, and
you could fit your Walkman in your pocket.
Oh, you had big baggy pants back then.
That's true. That's true.
I had one of those Walkmans that had a little lock on it.
The Djangos or whatever they were called back then.
They were the no skip ones, so you could like beat the crap out of them, and they wouldn't even skip.
Yeah,
it didn't stop you from trying either.
No,
like
you guys are, you literally are chaotic. Like
chaotic neutral. Don't get it wrong. I'm not.
I
evil.
didn't. No, I didn't say evil. You could be chaotic good.
That's true.
I just meant you were chaotic.
Yeah.
You're literally beating on your CD player to see if it skips. You're an animal.
Listen, the box said, the box said that you could beat on it. So you're like, oh, why not? Throw it in the air. Let's see if it still works.
I tell you what, I do that to
my God, so disrespectful to your parents' hard-earned money. Unless you bought it yourself, do what you want. I don't care. But...
By then, I was buying my own CD players. If you can imagine what that looked like on a shelf, because I really I can't.
So you really didn't value your time as an employee of.
He's just throwing his CD player like a frisbee.
Scratching it up on the sidewalk to see if it'll still play.
So did you guys mess around in just like switching gears? Did you guys mess around in the Create Escape Park at all?
I didn't.
No,
I bought a bunch of pieces for it, but I never went into it.
So I have in the past, but I didn't in this run. So, but I'm aware of like all the stuff that you could do.
Yeah, like spikes.
Yeah.
You just make a very small area that has two walls and a railing in the middle, so you can make the biggest wall kicking, grinding score of all time.
It was so cool as a kid. Like after playing through that whole career mode and like the maze of levels, like being able to create your own and like go get your brother and be like, hey, pick up the other controller. Let's go look at this. And then you have this like admittedly crappy custom level of that you made, but it had the one feature that you were trying to accomplish. Like it could have been a complete circular grind rail, or it could have been like just a giant spike pit pushed to the absolute max that you can jump over.
Yeah. I think it gives you the option to put a loop in too, because you have the loop at the bull ring.
Oh, like a loop-de-loop? I think so. It's been a long time.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it lets you put a loop in.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. That seems like a staple in these games.
But just like, what a feature. Wouldn't it have been enough to give us 16 skaters and then custom skaters and then being able to screw around with all the stats and the move sets? But they're like, you know what? Let's put a build your own park thing in there.
Was there a build a park feature in one?
I don't know.
I can't remember. I don't think there was. I could be wrong though. I feel like there wasn't.
And when I say stats, I don't mean like Mario Kart stats where it's just like speed and weight, okay? There's like, I don't know, what, like 9 stats?
Yeah,
right?
And it's for like every different
time,
kind of trick.
Grind rail balance, lip balance, manuals,
spin,
kick flips, ollies, spin. Yeah, there's tons of stuff, and they all manipulate something different, and when you move them, you feel it when you're playing.
Yeah, especially air.
Oh, we didn't touch on a very important part of increasing your combo. So,
yeah, there's 2 ways to play this game: the bad way, and the way that I think Steve is about to describe.
Actually, the speed run is done with Christ airs and kickflips. It's not done with long grinds.
I watched the speed run this week. He was
100% speed run is done with Christ airs and kickflips.
Comboing.
Was he?
But you're right. He wasn't grinding all that much, but he was comboing.
the competitions, you just need to do like Christ errors, because you can get away with doing like 1 or 2 tricks and then just like completely ending the competition like immediately without falling and getting like a really high score.
Yes.
So in the game, like we were talking about, your tricks give you points. Now, when you do a trick and you end it with either a grind or a manual, it holds that number. If you land a trick but don't do that, it ends the score that you've achieved in that string of tricks.
Also, alternatively,
but what happens is when you land a grind or a manual, it will give you a multiplier ×2. So then when you ollie and you do like a kickflip, or even if you just land from air, you do another manual, it'll multiply it to a 3. Or if you land on a rail, it'll multiply it to 3. Ollie off the rail and grind on the rail again, it goes to 4. If you jump and kickflip, goes to 5, and then hit the rail again with a grind without landing your board on the ground, it'll go to 6. So the more tricks you do in succession while landing on a grinding rail or on a manual will multiply your score. So what you want to do to get really high scores is have lots of different special moves and do all kinds of different grinds and manuals. Don't just do the same ones. You'll increase your base score and your large multiplier number.
Yeah, you
Just
can
don't
crank
wipe
out
out.
those six yeah.
Don't fail, dude.
as
I
soon as you
said some
bail,
very
you lose,
nasty
you
words.
lose all of it.
Yeah, no, I said some very nasty words around the house quite often this week from
I did it a
bailing
couple
out.
times too.
Yeah, I had to have my multiplier up to like 12.5 or something like that.
You look
and
at like
then
130,000
and
in
I-
one trick, and you're like, no!
I'd like missed something stupid too, where like I'd go to grind and I was just a little too late, and I would like just eat it right on the
Like
rail.
angles slightly off.
Yeah.
I set all my specials to grinding and manual specials.
Yeah, just up and
And
down.
they were all down and then another direction. So I had 3 manual and 3 grinding specials. So down left, down up, or down right, and then triangle. No matter what I was doing and landing, it
It's
would
a
either do a
special.
different manual special or a different grinding special. And I was getting ridiculously high score
That's
combos.
what I was doing, dude.
So I think my top score it was like 528,000.
Yeah, that's
Hell
pretty. That's
yeah.
pretty high.
It was like half a
So
million.
I was watching some
one trick was
videos.
almost 300,000.
Yeah, I was watching some
Millions.
videos. Yeah, where like literally like they would do a whole level, get everything in the freaking level in one trick, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
By the end of it,
yeah.
he gets like 5 million points. I'm
Really?
like, oh, that's disgusting, dude.
Damn, I can see that.
Oh yeah, no, you can go look it up. It's not just the speed runs, but there's like 100%ing levels on one single run, right? So these guys have the path mapped out to get all the cash and all the collectibles and grind all the rails and everything in 2 minutes. And yeah, when you see them go, you're like, man, I do not move my thumbs fast enough. I need to step it up.
It's cool. It's
Like,
it's
the speed
like
run
the
run
APM is
so impressive.
totally the APM is off the charts.
It's really
The
cool.
speed runs, they
There's-
get everything as fast as possible and the 6 score before the timer's even out. It's like 1 minute in, and then they land the trick after collecting everything, and then they end the run.
Yeah, they just
They don't even take the 2 minutes.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
pretty
awesome.
cool.
There's so much room for high level play in this game.
Well, there's
Like,
2 minutes
Also-
is too long, man.
there's
I got stuff
also-
to do.
Yeah.
In the elite speed run, there's also plenty of time to save as well. Like there,
Oh yeah, I'm sure that it's not like perfect.
no, it's I
There's
don't
too
know.
many variables. Like there's too much stuff.
right.
Like,
That's kind of what makes it an interesting
That's
speed
cool.
run too.
I'm also not surprised to hear this because this game even still receives a lot of praise today. Like so, I was looking up reviews and rankings, and apparently to this day, this game has gotten the second highest ranking on Metacritic ever, and that's behind Ocarina of Time for number 1.
I mean, it should be Majora's Mask, but I'm not here to tell him who's right or who's wrong.
don't start with this.
All right, Dan, we found our trigger.
I like both of those games. I just don't like the moon coming down and the 3-day thing. Other than that, like I don't know. I like the masks. I thought those were cool. getting off topic.
So yeah, I mean this game is a real treasure, even for a kid like me who did not skateboard. Like it's just an awesome game. It's like its own thing.
It's easy to pick up. It's easy to understand. Anybody can play it.
That's the best part, is that even if you don't skate, or if you can't skate, let's just say that you couldn't skate.
Skateboarding
this gives you the
just
opportunity to kind of experience the feeling, the grinding the rails and doing the manuals and getting the tricks and just having a lot of fun.
Skateboarding in
it's all
real
about
life
having fun.
is a lot of falling. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
You got to learn. So real skateboarding hurts. That's the best part about this game is you don't get hurt.
Yeah, the way your character eats it in this game, you totally be out cold sometimes.
Dude, I've fallen off like 60-foot things. And I'm like, I would have broken bone in my body, bro.
My favorite wipeouts.
You hit a half pipe doing like 40 miles an hour.
Yeah.
hit the
40 miles an hour on a
skateboard.
My favorite wipeouts in the game is probably like when you're going up like a half pipe or whatever. And then like, you know how like it's probably like this wide or whatnot, and then when you go up it, and then your character like slightly goes to the side.
Yeah, and you just
like you're in an impending doom. Like you're just gonna eat shit, dude.
This guy.
You're about to land backwards.
Yeah, but you
just
can
right
you
on
can
your
save
back,
that.
just flat on your back.
So like if you tilt, you can land, right? But in real life, we know that would be an arms flailing situation. Like
A lot of the time when that happened to me in the
spot.
game, I was just waiting for my character to just fucking eat it.
But like the funniest ones to me would be like if you were just something really mundane. You were coming up on like a bike rack to grind or something, and you totally miss it and you beef it right like face first onto the bike rack. It's like a 2-minute fail video. Like it's so good.
Did you guys watch the bail videos? Did you unlock them?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I watched them before, but not this week.
So like there's in this game, one of the collectibles are secret tapes too, which apparently you can actually watch. I think like the options menu, there's different characters doing different things. Not characters. They're real people. The video game avatars are characters.
Yeah.
I thought that was neat.
I was having such a hard
So
time
much
with
crap in this game.
when I first started playing. Like I said, I was playing Tony Hawk, and he has the variable McTwist. And for some reason, I would do the special, and he would finish it, but he'd always be like perpendicular to the half pipe, and he would land and fall backwards like every time. It was so annoying. Like I was like, they put this trick in the game, and you do it, and he won't land it himself. Like you have to also
upgrade his airtime.
Yeah, his spin.
Yeah.
Oh, he stopped spinning.
Kickflip McTwist?
It's crazy.
So like,
isn't it a kickflip in a 360?
So if you do actually play like a real person, you still get the skill points, right? And you can upgrade their stats, or is that just custom only?
No, it's a regular one. So when you start as
it's a career mode thing.
Yeah, when you start as a regular skater, they have base stats, and then you upgrade their stats as you go.
So that's kind of funny. It's like Tony Hawk has a move you can't even do unless you get like the right stat points.
Well, it's not that. It's just that you have to like spin him more. Like he just doesn't complete it on his own. It was really weird.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like the 900, he would just complete it, and you would land. But the variable
almost feels like
wasn't.
when you do the 900, it almost feels like he's not going to complete it though.
Yeah, you have to get some speed.
Well, because I think that's how it probably was in.
Yeah.
Well, we know that's how it was in real life.
Oh yeah,
now they got 13-year-old kids doing 3 in a row.
I watched that live on TV.
Now.
I watched Tony Hawk do that 900 on TV, and I also watched Dave Mirra do that double backflip.
Yeah, Dave Mirra's double backflip. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, man. Like that stuff, like set the precedent.
You gotta
really
have
set the bar.
Some steel cojones, man.
Yeah, they just had somebody on a bike do a quadruple backflip.
The world is a crazy place.
And they're doing there's one so 900, 1080, and I think 1080s as far as we've gone. I don't think we put another half rotation in.
Yeah, probably not. Unless you start adding rockets on your skateboard.
Not unless it's snowboarding.
Yes,
Don't give them ideas, Dan.
Snowboarding has gone past that. Yes.
Yeah, they get so much airtime.
Well, it's easier to spin your board when it's connected to your feet.
Also, yeah, but definitely more airtime for sure.
You heard it here first. Strap skateboards to your feet.
Ramp. We do have the super ramp. That thing shoots you like a cannon. Like it's just as big as a ski jump.
Could you imagine going down that thing and how wobbly your legs would be
No.
trying to keep it still?
Nope, because I
Ain't
definitely
doing
would
it.
not do that.
No, I like skating, but that's
Yeah,
that's
I also
above my
like
pay grade.
my teeth.
Yeah,
in
my
mouth.
legs. My legs working.
And it's pavement, like
It's not pavement. It's
no, I'm saying, and they make it pavement, like how
Oh.
scary it would be.
Oh god.
that's a
No.
death wish.
Yep.
No way. There's some pretty crazy skate spots out there, man. Like there's some stairs that you look
Unintended
at.
skate spots.
You look at some stairs that people have done, and you're like, people have done that. Like you couldn't like. You couldn't run it.
You couldn't
top
jump it normally.
speed, right? And like jump it normally. Like there's a video of, I forget who did it, but he's on top of a water tower.
Yeah, the two water towers.
Yeah,
is the
ollies
most
from-
famous ollie of all time.
That thing is so. If he fell, he would have died. He
Yeah,
would have
that's
legitimately just died.
absolutely insane.
Or
dude.
hurt, yeah.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained, they say.
True. You'd have thought he at least would have had somebody with like a bag down there.
Some say.
But in the game, they make it look so easy.
Yeah.
Double
You just get hit.
for sure.
You just get hit by the taxi, and you get back up, and you get back on your skateboard, and
Yeah.
just keep going.
Get out of here!
you just get run over by the. Yeah, my favorite is the subway. That you
The
like.
train.
Yeah, you grind the metro rail and get run over by the train. You just keep going.
Like if you keep grinding at the end of that train rail, it's like
Yeah, you like go into
red
the
letters will
tunnel.
come up and it'll be like, get out of there. It'll be like, where are you going? Or like, you're wet now, or it
Yeah,
says a couple of different
like
funny
the out of
things.
bounds stuff. Yeah.
Well, so I feel like we gushed about this game quite a bit. So
Tell us in the
Because-
comment section
because
who
it's
your
awesome.
favorite skater is and what your favorite song of the game is as well, if you played along with us on the Discord or anything else like that.
and who your favorite Cable Club guest of all time is?
It's not me. I'm lame. I'm a shoe-in. I'm only here because I'm a brother.
I do. Yeah. He's our nepotism hire for the for the season. But I do have to ask you what I ask every guest, Brandon. How do you think it's going to do in the league?
In the league, well, I doubt you'll find a better sports game that's as fun as this one. I know Mario Golf is very fun, but I don't think it quite compares to like this game. It's got a lot of nostalgia connected to it, so like for me, it ranks really high. And like you said, a lot of people liked it too. So it really depends on your audience. You know what I mean? It's really going to boil down to what they like. We all like the game. That's obvious. But it really depends if they decided to pick it up too and they played it. And
To be fair, have you ever met somebody that didn't like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater?
I've met
Because I don't think I have.
Not
Not anybody I've talked to
met
for very long.
girls
Yeah.
who like the game.
I don't talk to them anymore.
Yeah. Clearly, well, we were never friends in the first place if they didn't like the game. Let's be honest.
Listen, if you didn't understand chaining manuals, okay, we just
Yeah, that's
just
my
we
icebreaker.
aren't going to understand each other. All right.
Yeah, I show up on a Tinder
Think,
date. I'm
Mark.
like, do you know how to chain manuals together? And-
Yeah. Do you know how to chain manual kickflip?
I mean, yeah, this is like first date kind of questions.
So if you've made it this far in the episode, this is the part where I tell you to leave a like or subscribe or a comment or email us at thecableclubpodcast@gmail.com, especially if you have a game that you would like us to play on this league and would like to appear on this show. We're pretty lenient about who we let on the show. Obviously, we let Brandon on the show. So so feel free to reach out, and if you're so inclined, join the Discord. We cover a new game here every 2 weeks, so if you're into that kind of thing, just make us a regular part of your download diet, and soon we'll be weekly. But for now, we're going to get back to reviewing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, and I'm just going to say right out the gate, I don't think there's a lot we didn't say about this game. I think the only thing I want to mention is that as far as like an aging factor, I think the controls on this game are tight.
Oh,
like I played
absolutely.
the original PlayStation version, and I do not feel like it's like aged or dated. Like it feels the way it's supposed to feel.
That's
I
good.
think.
Yeah, like I said, I played the remake, so I wasn't sure if it was as tight as like the original. but it's good to hear that the controls are pretty similar.
Yeah, I did not have an issue grinding those bells, not at all.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Yeah, this game's great. Like, especially from my background when I was a kid. Like, so my dad got this for the PC, which I thought was weird myself because he's not like a skateboarder, but whatever. I didn't like sport games like whatsoever as a kid. Like most
More
kids,
on
they
that
don't.
in a minute.
Like most kids, they didn't. I didn't at least. So like I didn't really give it the time of day at first, but then I started to play it a little bit, and then lo and behold, I think I never beat it as a kid, but like I got like, geez, up to like the second to last level. I think the bull ring or something like that. Yeah, and I just had an
Second to
absolute
last is Philly.
Yeah, Philly. That's which one. Yeah, the one with the fountain. Actually, I think it was.
Yep.
It was. Yeah. Yeah, I just had an absolute blast as a kid playing it, and then obviously playing it again now, with the remake, and it's just great. Like, this game is not a lot I would say bad about this game. It's good in every aspect. Even if you're not a skateboarder, it don't matter. This game's excellent.
Yeah. So for me, this is one of my favorite Tony Hawk games, and I've played most of them. Or at least most of them from back in the day. I haven't played a lot of the new ones. But what I like most about the Tony Hawk games is something that I talked about a little bit earlier, is that it's really easy to pick up for anyone, and you can learn how to play very quickly. But the depth that the game has is such a great motivator, because you can always increase your skill level. The ceiling is so high, but the level of learning is so low that anybody can pick it up and just play it and play it and play it. And it's just so addicting to get better scores or to do different tricks that you're trying to do. And then they have the collectible part, which is really neat. And, they have all of your favorite pro skaters, and the soundtrack, and the whole culmination of this game is pretty incredible, especially for the time. It really paved the way for skateboarding games and skateboarding in general. Like, it just pushed everything into the mainstream. Excellent game all around.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that I didn't appreciate as a kid was that 2-minute timer, but one thing that was great this week was that 2-minute timer that I could, like, as a busy dad, with other stuff going on, like, hop in, do a run or two, because it really only takes you, like, I don't know, maybe 6 minutes total once you get through the menuing, and then hop back out, and you feel like you did something. Like, you could check some items off the quest list for whatever episode you were on quest list.
The goals, the goal list.
Yeah, the goals.
Yeah, but that feels to me like more of a feature now than it did when I was a kid, and like I think it's really good, and just the amount. I'm just baffled at the amount that they put in this game retrospectively. Like that park builder thing is just something they did not need, but they still managed to jam it in there alongside everything else.
Definitely, it's like the cherry on top.
It's such a deep game.
Yeah,
like,
it definitely turns the game. Like, the game's already like A tier, but like adding the freaking the skate park, creative skate park, it's like instant S tier. It's just like so much.
Yeah, I
like,
want
how
to
do
go
you get
back.
bored? Like, especially as like a kid, like there's just so much you can do.
I want to go back on my answer for the StarCraft episode, a game with a level builder. This one would have been a great answer.
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine if there was a community for it back in the day? Like, maybe there was on the PC version. I don't know if it had like online play.
You could build a park and put it on your memory card and trade with your friends. Play your parks.
Yeah, but it wasn't a thing. I don't think, right? Maybe it
Not
was
where we
amongst,
were.
like certain circles of friends, but like if it was like a StarCraft where it had its own platform and you could just play anybody's park, yeah, I think it would have been that big.
Yeah, you can do it on the remakes, which is great. But like again, it's just like back then the internet was in its infancy, so it's like obviously you didn't have that. But now with the remakes, it's now possible.
Like it's just so unique that it makes you want to play it, even if you don't care about skating. Like I did not care about skating as a kid, and I really, even still after this episode, will probably forget most of what we talked about today almost instantly. But this game is just so good, and it's so much fun.
Yeah, like, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Like, granted, I haven't played tons of games, like skating games, but like this is definitely my second favorite. Now that they're remaking 3 and 4, I'm really hoping they make Underground. Oh, dude, it was so good.
Yeah, it was so cool.
By far my favorite Tony Hawk game. Like I want it so.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to find something negative to say about it. Even the PlayStation 1 version, like, yeah, okay, the graphics, all right, fine, but it was just a product of the time. But I don't know, everything just feels like it handles so well. It's not overly glitchy. You'd have to go looking for it to find the glitches, so it's polished.
I mean, some of the out of bounds things are weird to tell at first, but you quickly overcome that. And, you know, the 2-minute timer, you can take it or leave it. Some people may like it, some people may not. But yeah, I mean, some of the objectives are a little bit obscure. Like, for example, Venice, I didn't know which vert gaps to hit. Like, yeah. It wasn't clear. Or like, you know, some of the terminology might be a little bit more advanced than a skater. You don't really know what you're doing all the time.
I felt like some of the goals, like, almost felt like, you know, the game was talking to like somebody who skateboarded. It felt like.
Well, what was the there was a Philadelphia one. It was like
I know exactly which one you're talking about. Yeah,
whatever. And you're like, what is that?
Like do a backbone or some backbone grind or something, whatever it was called. I was like, I don't know how to do that. Like,
tail grind the Venice railing. Like, where is the Venice railing? What is this?
You have to have some level of knowledge about
you need geography knowledge for that one. You don't even know where that is. How many railings are in this level? Tail grind them all. You'll maybe find it. But yeah, not a whole lot bad to say.
So that is overall what we thought of the game. But we actually had a lot of people from the community write in. A lot being relative. We had 3, but that's way more than we usually get. So we had Mike first, who I was really surprised to see write in because this doesn't strike me as being in his wheelhouse. But he said, while I like the franchise, I'm less sold on how Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 added manuals into the game. At least enough that I think I'd be more drawn to the first game over this one, all other things being equal. I do appreciate the design in both games, both the level design and the sound design, from music to sound. I'm not holding it against either of them, that I think the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 remake suffers a bit for me on Switch because the buttons are too small and close together for how the controls map. But it's made it harder to get back into the franchise. So, you know, I kind of disagree a little bit there. I like the manuals. I think.
I kind of wonder, like, what does he have against manuals?
He just doesn't like chaining the tricks, I guess.
I mean, it's just extra stuff. I mean, is that bad? Yeah. You don't have to do them.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I mean, you don't have to do them. I mean, if you want a 6 score, just, like, do a manual in place and just do, like, you know, the Rodney Mullen freaking, what do they call it? Like, where he flips the board with his handstand. Like, that's a good way to get a lot of points. That's what I was doing.
I forgot about the handstand one.
Yeah, I had that set on special.
Yeah, so good.
Mythical, who is Brad, says, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 were such foundational games for me. From the discovery of the music to actually wanting to learn how to skateboard, this series was so much more than just some video games. I still listen to the soundtracks fairly often. One of the most nostalgic games of all time. I remember playing it sometimes just to try to learn new tricks since the internet wasn't as easily accessible as it is now. It's one of those games that'll keep you coming back for one more run. This is a slam dunk for Master Ball in my opinion. And Brad actually put up a video, if this could be considered a perk for joining the Discord, of him doing and landing very cleanly, I might add, a 540 flip.
Yeah, that was sick.
It was a very clean one.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people just try to do regular kick flips and just eat it.
Right.
So,
I mean, he might not be far off. I mean, this might be like a Master Ball tier. We'll see. But, you know, I think it'll definitely be high for sure.
Hapney or Super Hap says, see, as much as I love the original run of Tony Hawk's Pro Skaters, Game 2 is probably my least favorite of the original 4. Had you submitted 1, it's a definite consideration for Master Ball. 2 is good, but not top tier. I need sunblock.
This sounds like nostalgia glasses.
Yikes, Hapney.
Well, Mike kind of said the same thing. I'm kind of wondering, it must be nostalgia for like the number 1. Because I feel like 2 just expanded on everything. Really?
It did. It added so much.
In my opinion, outdid the 3rd game. So
Yeah, it's got to be nostalgia for both these boys.
I guess they'll have to take it to the vote. Are you guys ready to get into rating this thing?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Ready?
All right, so if you've been following along with the league, you probably already know that this is the part of the show where we take the game and we put it into our patented retro game league. And it is, we have up in front of us something that looks like a tier list, but it's not. What we're doing is we're taking the games that guests bring on to us this year and we're sorting them into cups in the style of Pokemon Stadium because we are a Pokemon-centered podcast. And what these cups are their own little competitions of 5 games each. We're going to play 25 games in total this year. And we sort them into cups because not all games are created equal. We wanted to create a space for our guests to bring on either the classics that are amazing games, think like Super Metroid, Super Mario World, but also have the space to bring on some more hipstery or perhaps nostalgic games that they remember. And at the end of this year, we'll be giving out some prizes. And the audience for our podcast and the cohorts for the guests will vote to determine which games deserve to get those prizes in each cup. So, the decision that we're making as hosts is to sort these games. Because we can only have 5 games per cup, if a game comes in at one of the lower cups that already has 5 games established in it, that means we have to promote games up. And who knows, we might run into a situation where we may have to demote a game down too. So, we will now fight amongst ourselves about where we think Tony Hawk's Pro Skater should go. And I'm just going to say, I think it should start at the top in Great Ball.
Yep, I'm looking at the Pokeball tier specifically. And I think I would agree that Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 is probably, in my opinion, I could probably play Tony Hawk's over all those games. So yeah, Great Ball for me as well.
Well, then it doesn't really matter what I say, but
your input's always valid.
Yeah, we haven't landed it somewhere. I'm willing to hear it.
I have spent more time playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 than Donkey Kong Country 2. As far as better or worse, it probably is stronger in a lot of ways than Donkey Kong. I'm having a hard time placing it above Street Fighter, mainly because I can appreciate the complexity, the replayability, the competitive edge style of a game that is. But personally, I think it's a little bit better for me than Street Fighter, even though I think overall Street Fighter is probably the better game. But personally, I would put it in Great Ball. Tony Hawk's, that is.
Yeah, I think, and you're right. That is tough. Street Fighter 3 has such a massive following, and it deserves it. And we argued on the episode that we did it that it is, probably the peak of pixel art fighting games. It's clean. It's not solved. There's a lot going on there, gameplay wise. And I think the only thing for me that edges out Tony Hawk Pro Skater, because it's very similar in all of those respects, is that Tony Hawk's Pro Skater is like universally loved.
Yeah.
Like in just, as far as like gamers go in general, like you talk to other people who played games who are about our age, and I have to say, like, pretty much all of them have played this game and don't have too many bad things to say about it.
Right. And just like using the
soundtrack.
Music. Oh yeah. That's what I was saying. Like, it just brings a flood of nostalgia. Anytime you hear it, just, when times are simple.
So I think it barely ekes out for me. It's gonna land in the Great Ball category, it sounds like. And who knows? It might stay there. The next 11 games we get might be total bangers, and it might, that might just be where it ends up in general. But we'll have to see over the next several weeks as we keep going through this league. So I have a surprise for you guys, and we knew this day was coming because we lost the fight night against the Switcheroo podcast, and the bet for that was that the other podcast would write the outro.
Here we go.
So that has finally come due, as JMO has sent me the outro. Are you guys ready for this?
Oh, I'm ready.
How bad it might be. I'm the only one to have seen this because he wanted to make sure I kept it a secret from you guys until this moment to get your candid reactions. So, well, boys, before we wrap up today, there's one last thing I want to get off my chest. And I know what you might be thinking. He's going to talk about the old switcheroo.com is the best and only Nintendo Classics podcast on the internet, or how Third Strike is actually superior to Brood War in every single way, including depth, girth, and mouthfeel. You might even expect me to finally confess that I'm romantically attracted to the Arby's beef and cheddar combo. But more than anything, I want to thank my fellow co-hosts and the Cable Club League community for carving out such a fun little corner of the internet. We may not be very good at fighting games, but boy oh boy do we cast a mean pod, and I hope that we do this for a long time to come. The most painful part of that for me was the Arby's beef and cheddar combo.
Yeah.
Easily.
It's still chef's kiss. Love you, JMO.
That's the worst. That's if we were doing a fast food tier list, that's easily F tier fast food.
Yeah, along with KFC,
Arby's.
man, it's gone so downhill.
It's terrible. But there is one last thing, which is talking about the next game that we're going to be playing. We are going to have our dear friend returning to the podcast, Hux. You might also know him as the Hux Awards. And he is bringing on for us another doozy of a game that may keep Street Fighter Third Strike out of upper echelons even longer. We'll have to see. But it is the awesome Diablo 2, put out by Blizzard Entertainment in its heyday. And I am very much looking forward to playing that over the next 2 weeks. So if you are, catch us in the Discord on the gaming couches and come play with us. But you guys excited for Diablo 2?
Yeah, absolutely. I haven't really played too much Diablo. I played a little bit of 3, a decent amount of 4. So it'll be nice to go back and see kind of where the roots came.
Yeah, I've played some Diablo 3 with Chef Doug and Relica. This is my first time playing 2, so we'll see how it goes.
We're in for a treat. I'm pretty excited. All right, but for now, game over, fellas?
Game over.
Game over.